And we near the end of Yellowjackets season 2, 3. 2's already been, that was years ago. And this episode is a big episode, and on the surface, I really liked it, because we've got payoff to a lot of mysteries, we've got some cool new setup, we got some really awesome, good acting, good character stuff, good, good forward momentum, so in that regard, it's great, but this episode is systemic and sums up the entire season in that it's, on the surface, it's great, but it's just the way it's structured and managed doesn't really work for the show as a whole. By the way, there'll be spoilers from this point forward, so just give a quick summary of what my unspoiled reactions are to the episode, in which case I really liked it. I think I don't like going for 0.5s, so I'd say that this episode was 3 out of 5, because you have to weigh it up against the broader confines of the season, and think, well, it's very, very good on its own. In terms of the wider reach of season, it wasn't so great. Anyway, time for the spoilers. So in this episode, we pick up where the last one left off, or actually, we pick up days earlier, because there's an expedition to observe frog mating rituals, because the episode starts with a bunch of frogs having fucking sex and screeching, which seems like a metaphor for this season. And then we find out that there's a team of 3, Hannah, Edward and Cody, played by Joel McHale, who I really like, he's a good actor. So they're doing an expedition to find frogs having sex, which they do, and then they don't go home, they wind up interacting with the Yellowjackets. And Edward is angry because he thinks Cody's trying to bang his wife, and she's not exactly dissuading for that notion. And Cody's like, I just want to smoke some joints and get back to the station safely. But he does not, because Edwin gets a fucking axe in the back of head by Lottie and dies. Hannah and Cody run off, but they get separated. Hannah gets kidnapped, gets found by Shauna and Natalie, and taken back in camp, and she's like, hey, oh yeah, Melissa got shot, but I can save her. Travis and Akila find Cody, and they're like, take us back to civilization. So it's like, oh shit, well that's cool. Like, Joel McHale's staying around for a bit, that's good. And then from there we get, well, actually it's very cool, because he talks about weirdness a bit too, so hopefully he'll factor into that. And then we get the present day stuff where they play whole tape, and it actually has Hannah's voice on it. Sort of like she's telling her daughter, save me, save me, save me. And then they all think that the daughter's responsible for what's happened. But Misty rightly points out, 25 fucking years ago, why she wait so long? Which is a very valid point. And actually, I had that point before she said that. And then she said it, I was like, oh, synchronicity. Imagine if I was doing this live, I would have had that point, and then she would have said it, and you would have gone like, oh, he guessed that. But now I just have to try and look like I know what I'm talking about. So they think that Shauna kills Lottie because Shauna's fingernails run into Lottie's skin, and Shauna is in New York that day, which she was, because remember she said about Can at the time, it was like, oh, but now it's like, oh. And also, Tyson met up with Lottie too, so we've got 2 people in New York that day who may have done it. Or it could have been Joel McHale, who knows? Because they specifically say Hannah's dead. We also find out Melissa's dead, and Jen's dead. So, oh shit, when did that happen? But it could be an end point within those 25 years, so who knows? Still don't know anything about Adam, which is weird, because he's trying to blackmail Sean. No, maybe he's part of this, who knows? Also, Alex, shit, that's a lost flashback. Yeah. But, so basically, then they think Lottie's dead, they think Shauna did it, but then Van starts coughing up blood, so they take her to the hospital, and she has one of those death hallucination thingies, or impending death, but then she sees evil Tyson, she's like, don't you do it, and evil Tyson's like, oh, I'm going to kill this guy in the bed next to you, and that's just going to happen, so that's how the episode ends, it's like, oh shit. Right, so, actually no, because then we get Callie saying to Jeff, like, oh yeah, shit, Mum might be evil, and Jeff's sort of like, oh, I do have bed bugs, so maybe that's going somewhere. Who knows? So, a lot happened, and don't get me wrong, I like part of it, but I'm not a huge fan of armchair quarterback in TV shows, but this feels like it could have all been threaded throughout the season. Like, you remember in Lost Season 4, when the people from Freighter showed up, and then they're introduced straight away in season, and then they're filled up throughout the season. That's what this should have been like. No, you could have planned this out a bit better. It just feels like they're playing catch up, because again, I said no, I thought they were basically had years of storylines and they had to speed through a lot of it. So Lottie's death hasn't really been given the focus it should have been given. This mystery team hasn't been given focus they should have been given, because you could have got more stuff out of their interactions, you know? They could have been ones that Ben was talking to in the cave, which just seemed to be dropped completely, because obviously Ben's dead, so you can't do that storyline, but clearly there was something, if he was going mad, he wasn't going mad in camp. He didn't continue going mad in Camp Flem, but clearly he was talking to someone, so who was he talking to? Unless you're saying, oh, he was just mad, but again, he wasn't, he gained his composure. It seems like Ben's stuff, seems they haven't really given much thought to. This stuff, I mean, you could have typed that in. He could have been interacting with one of them. And maybe I'll go back to it, but I think it's similar to Adam stuff, where there's an interesting story there and doesn't really get built up brilliantly. And same thing with Walter. It's like, how's Walter factored in? Like, he just befriends Misty, and then the other characters start meeting him, and all that suspense and tension of who he is sort of not really gone anywhere. And I think this season particularly, it's not structured brilliantly. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this episode. It's very fast-paced, very manic, but you could have had these little breadcrumbs throughout the season. And it would have ruined tension or mystery. It would have just made it a bit unique, you know? But at the same time, like, in terms of like mythology and continuity and all of that stuff, this was really good, and this is better sign. It's just I have to grade it on not only is its own thing, if it's its own thing 4 stars, but in terms of the whole season and the fact that it could have been meshed in better, it's 3. But I did really enjoy this, and I feel like at last we have some genuine forward momentum and things going forward, which is cool, you know? Like, I want to know what happens with Travis and Keela and Cody. Maybe they go with him, maybe they don't. I want to know how Travis and Natalie's relationship develops, because they haven't really interacted this year. So that'll be interesting to see as well. And I want to see what happens to them after their escape, because I think there's some really good flashbacks and stuff you can do there once they've got back to the mainland. So yeah, I mean, pretty cool stuff. I'm looking forward to next week anyway, which is more than I'd say for a few weeks. I feel buzzed about the show again. So yeah.